What do you think so far? How are you? Good to see you. Happy Monday. And there are such things as happy Mondays if you like what you do for a living. Mondays are no big deal. It is the 21st day of September 2020, the 93rd and last day of summer 2020. I'm Dan Kuntz. Yep, the autumnal equinox is tomorrow morning at 6:30, and it's right on into fall. And wouldn't you know it, it's almost like Mother Nature had a calendar, because we're going to have mixture of clouds and sun today, quite a bit of sunshine on Tuesday, and then Wednesday, the first full day of autumn, here comes the rain, and we're going to have rain Wednesday night, spilling into Thursday night. Much needed rain is finally coming our way. As you can see, it's fairly clear skies. We're done with the smoke. It's 86. It's out of here. Thank goodness. Things are looking good. We need rain. We're going to get rain. It's going to feel like autumn quick, like it's going to be like throwing a switch. Forecast details are coming up. Seahawks, what a game last night. I get up really early in the morning, so I just didn't have the energy to stay up late enough to watch the game. And then when I woke up this morning, I went, wow, good stuff. Talk about Seahawks and their rather dramatic victory over the Patriots last night. When we get to sports, Mariners playoff hopes are just hanging by a thread. They're in the final week of the season. That's it. 7 games left. They got 3 at home against Houston, then 4 on the road against Oakland. They got to sweep the Astros, or their chances of making the playoffs are pretty much done. We'll talk about that. And at the back half of the hour, from the National Center for Suicide Survivors, Dr. Julie Rickard, who's done this show before, and Blake Suzelis will be joining me in a conversation we taped on Friday. You'll notice that we taped it on Friday because there's smoke in the background. Smoke's gone now. So Julie and Blake will talk about that, the National Center for Suicide Survivors, in the back half of the program. All right, let's take our tour. We had a gorgeous sunrise this morning, by the way. I went out in the parking lot and just stared at it for a while. It was just beautiful. Sun came up at about 6:47. At about 6:37, I went outside, and it was all salmon colored and peach and red and purple. Beautiful. Sunrise this morning at 6:47, sunset 6:59. Sun goes down before 7 o'clock tonight. 12 hours and 12 minutes of daylight as we look out over the Cross Cam. And by the way, some locations in and around the north central Washington area did get some rain over the weekend. Here in Wenatchee, specifically at Payne-Bohr Memorial Airport, where the official rain gauge is, we didn't get any. We have the distinct possibility of going an entire summer without measurable rain. Unbelievable. Good morning, Wenatchee Valley. Good to see you. Camera 2, it's nice to be seen. We had smoke, of course, for so long. That looks to be Lake Chelan. I want to say Lower Butte. Okay, I got one right. Hi, Lake Chelan. Smooth as glass there. You can see the 3 fingers to the right-hand side of your screen. The marina, Chelan way off into the distance. Of course, the tourist season in Chelan is all but done, but Chelan is a great place to go any time of the year. I like to go in the off-season and enjoy the peace and the quiet of beautiful Lake Chelan from our Lower Butte camera. We have 2 cameras on the butte. One's way up top in the very top of the butte, and the other one's a little bit lower and a little bit farther to the east, and that's the one you're looking at there. Sun's coming up over Chelan. Camera number 3. Megan says, let's take a look at the Upper Valley. I'm going to say the monitor camera. Hey, the monitor camera looking towards, it looks like, the greater Cashmere area. I'm just spitballing. It looks like it's pointing to the west as we look at the orchards sitting there and hanging out. Of course, we're done with the cherries for the most part. Pears are still out there. Peaches are all but done. And next up, of course, apples as we look at the orchards doing their job so well. And camera number 4. Oh, that's really cool. That's the Lake Wenatchee camera. She zoomed it in just a little bit. Look at that cloud cover. Wow. That's cool. She did not zoom it in. She's telling me, why does it look zoomed in? I don't know. It just looks wonderful, though. Dirty Face Mountain on your right, which is a beautiful hike, but it's a bit of a workout. I'm going to give you that right now. It takes a little while to get there. You get stunning views when you get to the top of Dirty Face, but a lot of switchbacks and pretty steep. You got to be in shape to make that hike. Lake Wenatchee dominating your view there. The Kaler Glen Golf and Ski Resort at the bottom of your screen. You can see where some of the logging has been done to your left, down above the up above the Nason Creek area. Gorgeous view of a beautiful area, Lake Wenatchee. Good stuff, Megan. All right, it is 5 minutes after the hour. We have one slide to show for you, and that is the week ahead. Weather-wise, as I mentioned at the top of the hour, not a lot to talk about today and tomorrow. We'll have a mixture of clouds and sun today. We'll have quite a bit of sunshine Tuesday. And then for the first full day of autumn, here comes a frontal system. It's packing a pretty good punch, too. We're going to have widespread rain Wednesday. Wednesday night, we're going to have a good dose of rain. Going to go right into Thursday morning. So it's going to feel like fall. It's going to cool down quite a bit. It's also going to be breezy at times. It's going to be below normal on Friday. By the way, the upcoming weekend looks really good. So much needed rain Wednesday, Thursday, spilling into Friday. And then by the time we get to Saturday, it'll be back to sunshine for the first weekend of autumn 2020. Good stuff there. Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling gives your home a hug. And here's your forecast from the National Weather Service. Again, the clouds and the sun are going to do battle today. A high of about 77. 54 for the overnight low tonight is 54 right now outside of our studios. Bountiful sunshine on Tuesday for the first day of autumn and a high of 78, the first full day of autumn. Again, the autumnal equinox is tomorrow morning at 6:30. Rain Wednesday afternoon, quite a bit of rain it looks like Wednesday night. It's going to spill right on over into Thursday, a mixture of clouds and sun, but mostly rain in the Thursday evening hours as that system comes in with another punch. Showers likely Thursday night, chance of rain on Friday. And then we calm down on Saturday. Sunday it looks beautiful. We need rain. Heaviest rain looks to be Wednesday night, spilling into early Thursday morning. And then it happens again on Thursday afternoon into Friday night. So we need rain. We're gonna get it. Whew. Can't wait for the wet stuff. It's been a long time. We have not had measurable rain at Pangbourne Memorial Airport since June 15th, which was before summer. That's how dry it's been. 7 minutes after the hour. Going to take a break. We'll have your Monday morning news when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Pybus Public Market's motto is where community meets. Whether it's people, enjoying an event, or they meet a colleague for coffee and whip out their laptop and are able to actually do work here, having quick and reliable Wi-Fi is one of the things that makes Pybus such a great community hub. It just contributes to the welcoming place that we want Pybus to be. I'm Allie, and fiber keeps people connected, and that's what Pybus Market is all about.
Hi, my name is Manuel Navarro, Chief Operating Officer at Columbia Valley Community Health. Patient safety is our top priority, including providing care that just can't wait. With enhanced safety precautions, we want to ensure you that we're able to continue providing safe and efficient in-person care at our clinic. From in-car check-in, ongoing screening, immediate rooming, your family can get the safe care that they deserve here at Columbia Valley Community Health.
8 minutes after the hour, partly cloudy skies, 54 degrees. We'll have partly cloudy skies today, highs in the upper 70s. Lots of sunshine Tuesday. Here comes the rain. Wednesday night, Thursday, right on into Friday. We're going to get some wet stuff. Can't wait for that. Here are your headlines. Governor Jay Inslee gave no indication on Thursday that he'll be lifting the pause on his phased Safe Start COVID-19 reopening plan. That's not going to happen anytime soon, according to the governor. Now, Inslee ordered the pause in early July after positive cases of the virus spiked throughout the state. Chelan and Douglas counties, we are among 5 counties stuck in a modified version of phase 1. When asked about lifting the pause, Inslee acknowledged there has been a recent decline in cases, but said there are concerns about other metrics and continued compliance with his face coverings mandate.
So what we're doing is trying to be as effective as possible to drive both the number of our cases down. We're shooting for 25 per thousand, and the positivity down, and the R naught number down, which is the number of people you're infected that one person affects. To get all those 3 numbers down to a level where we believe we can keep them down. We're a ways away from those right now. There has been some recent progress, as you know, in the number of cases. That has come down. We're very pleased by that. Now I think we're about in the top best 8 states in the United States on that metric. The positivity metric has been a little improved, but it's sort of plateaued the last, week or so, at least according to my review. The R0 number has, we think, might have been below 1, but might be a little above it now. Still hovering around 1. We've got to get that number down. So those are probably the hospitalization, obviously, rates are obviously important, and the deaths are our ultimate arbiter of this. Although the deaths, because they lag so far behind the infection, the hospitalization rate is probably more important in our assessment vehicle. Now, the reason I mention this is that our ability to open these businesses is dependent on reducing the rate of infection. And we have an extremely powerful tool, we believe, to do that, and that's these masks. And if we want to open up our businesses, the more people that wear masks, the faster we're going to open up our businesses. That's just a lead pipe fact. And it's another reason that I hope we will continue to have great compliance with the mask requirement. And I will tell you that it is greater than it was a month ago. And I would just, if I can, just take a moment why I say this. We had a huge need to mask up a month or two ago. And as a result, and there's pretty good evidence of this, we have driven some of these numbers down. But it's probably more important in the next 2 months, because this is when people are going to come back inside in the fall. They are going to be in contact closer inside than outside. We know inside is much more dangerous than outside. And if we let our guard down and start going to family dinners with several people in the same room not wearing masks and they're sitting next to each other, this is just a recipe for disaster, and we'll be right back in the soup. Europe is now experiencing this. This morning's news out of Europe is that there's been several really concerning spikes in Europe. They got their numbers way down, lower than ours, but now they're coming back up. And we have to realize the next month or two is very challenging for us.
Speaking of COVID-19, free COVID-19 testing is going to be offered tomorrow through Friday in Cashmere. The Chelan Douglas Health District has been conducting door-to-door outreach in Cashmere to provide information on the testing. Results of these self-administered tests are expected to be available within 24 to 48 hours for those who test positive, and 5 to 7 days for negative tests. The testing will be from 2 o'clock to 8 o'clock at Riverside Park, again beginning tomorrow. People who use the Apple Capitol Loop Trail is going to need to take a detour beginning this morning between Confluence State Park and the Otabashian Bridge. The Chelan County PUD is going to have crews out there doing habitat improvement work and bank erosion prevention in the area. The work will include bringing in boulders and cobble fill to stabilize the Columbia River shoreline. It's expected to continue until November 10th. Now, in addition, the PUD also announced that the Confluence boat launch is going to be closed for the entire month of October while a concrete ramp is replaced. And with wildfire anxiety still high in the upper Wenatchee Valley, the Icicle-Pashaston Irrigation District says it will delay its seasonal water shutoff until October 2nd. The district had planned to end water service for the year this coming Friday, but many of its 3,000 customers asked water access to continue in case of firefighting needs. The district draws water from the Icicle watershed and it serves irrigation customers in the Leavenworth, Pashaston, and Dryden areas. That's a quick look at what you need to know on this Monday morning at 14 minutes after the hour. Grant and Jefferson and Cal and Eric and Uriah and all the other people who help put together the evening news will do exactly that for you today. And at 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock and 10 o'clock, you can keep yourself in the loop. And with a preview of the evening news tonight, here's Grant Olson.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, the latest COVID-19 headlines from around the area. Another storm is headed our way. I'll tell you when and how much rain we might get. And Eric Granstrom will be in with reaction to last night's Seahawks-Patriots Sunday night football matchup. That and all the day's news coming up tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. We hope to see you then. Dan?
Thank you, Grant. You got a news tip? You want to drop us a line? Well, look at the bottom of your screen. Those are the tools that we have made available for you. You can go to our Facebook page. Give us a big old thumbs up. We'd always appreciate that. And you can drop us a line via Facebook Messenger. You can go to our website at ncwlife.com and click on the Contact Us icon. You can submit a news tip or just say hi if you so desire. Or you can email us directly news at ncwlife.com, news at ncwlife.com. I'm going to take a break. When we come back, we're talking Seahawks, talking Mariners, and previewing the last night of racing this Saturday night at the WVSO. And yep, we will be there. Sports is 1 minute away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Join NCW Life Channel for another night at the races, Saturday at Wenatchee Valley Super Oval. It's the Neil Newberry 125 presented by Pepsi for the Northwest Super Late Model Series. It's also the Tommy Wentz Classic for the Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning Thunder Cars. There's also the Holiday Custom Muffler B-Mods and the Plum Perfect Roadrunners. Coverage starts at 6 Saturday live on the NCW Life Channel, your local TV station.
The two hottest pickups in America are at Town Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. First, the Ram 1500 with back-to-back Truck of the Year awards from Motor Trend, and now the Car and Driver 10 Best list for 2020. They call it a luxury sedan with pickup capabilities. Ram is on a roll now with third-generation eco-diesel power. Next up, the Jeep Gladiator, also a 2020 10 Best model based on the new award-winning Jeep Wrangler. It has options and capabilities that no other truck can offer. Two more reasons when it comes to buying a truck. There's no reason to leave town.
17 minutes after the hour on this Monday, L.J. Collier stopping Cam Newton on the 1 yard line on the final play of the game. Seahawks hold on for the 35-30 victory at CenturyLink Field last night. Whew, it was a barn burner. Newton engineering a 9-play, 74-yard drive to get his team to Seattle's 1 yard line, 3 seconds remaining. He'd already rushed for a couple of touchdowns in the game. And from that position, and Collier said the defense was ready.
Really, man, they were running the same thing all game. Bobby came to us before that and said they were going to run the same play, and then we were going to slant on it just to go with it. And I really just followed my captain and went with him, man. And you see, we came up with a big-time play. So really credit to Coach Nord, Bobby, and the rest of the defense. Those are big-time plays, man. You can't really just, like, the excitement, just with your boys, everything, just to finish it off, man. It's a hell of a play, man. Imagine if we had fans here today, we'd still be Seattle still be shaking.
Strong safety Jamal Adams, man, he's working out pretty good. Another big game. He had 10 combined tackles. He also had a sack and a tackle for a loss. He was quick to give credit to Collier for the big play at the end of the game.
That was crazy, man. A lot of emotions. I tell you what, man, I'm so proud of LJ, man. He's I just met him, but I've heard so much about him. You know, due to my boy back home, Daniel Wise, who's really good friends with him, and he went to TCU, but so proud of him because he's worked his tail off just to get to this moment and have his moment. You know, obviously he said he was injured, so I thought, you know, we finished strong. You know, as a defense, we like to be in those moments, but we don't like to be in those moments. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's just so fun and so exciting to get that win and pull it off like that.
The last-second heroics kind of overshadowed another great game by Russell Wilson. He threw touchdown passes to 5 different receivers. He now has 9 touchdown passes in just 2 games, and Russell Wilson says, hey, I'm having fun.
You know, God's given me a gift, you know, and just I want to continue to use it, you know, and just give guys a chance to make a play, and they keep making plays, and it's a lot of fun. I always think back to baseball. You know, people always ask me what's a greater feeling, hitting a home run or throwing a touchdown. I've thrown a lot more touchdowns in my professional career than home runs, but both feelings are amazing, and I think, you know, I just love winning. You know, I love winning. I love the process of winning. I love the process of the week. I love that more than the end result even, and so that's where I think it all comes from.
Of course, the game is played at CenturyLink Field with no fans because of COVID-19. Coach Pete Carroll says, hey, it's great to get a win. It's great to get a win at home, but who's kidding who? It would have been kind of cool if the fans were there.
Really an amazing game. It's so, for the fans out there, we missed you so much. I can't tell you how much, you know, we're so used to this extraordinary following and crowd and energy and juice and all that. And so I don't know if you saw our guys, but our guys were trying to fill in for you. I just wish so much that you'd have been there for the last play of the game. I just think it would have been just so crazy for all the fans. But I hope you went nuts and did what we were talking about doing and enjoyed the heck out of it. against a really, really difficult defense to deal with, that they've historically been really a problem. Russ had a terrific night again, and the pass protection was excellent for us all night long, handling all the stunts and the pressures and the different things that they do, the variety of things they do. So a really big night for us to handle those kinds of problems. And you know, Russ threw 5 touchdown passes tonight. It was just, you can just see that he's really in command of what we're doing, and his receivers came through beautifully.
Wilson's quarterback rating for the game, by the way, 132.1. That's like really, really good. He threw 5 touchdown passes. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, David Moore, Chris Carson, and Freddie Swain. On the receiving end, Carson led the ground game, 72 yards, 17 carries. Seattle improves to 2-0. Next up, another home game. The Cowboys coming to town, 125 on Fox. All right, to the NFC West and the Les Schwab scoreboard we go. Raheem Mostert rushed for 92 yards and a touchdown. Jimmy Garoppolo threw 2 touchdown passes. San Francisco, they improved to 1-1 with a 31-13 victory against the Jets in New Jersey. Jared Goff connected with Tyler Higbee on 3 touchdown passes. The Rams get past Philadelphia 37-19. LA is also 2-0 in the season. And Kyler Murray continues to impress at quarterback for Arizona. He rushed for a couple of touchdowns, threw for another 353 yards of total offense. And the Cardinals go on to beat Washington 30-15. Arizona also 2-0 on the season. Mariners, San Diego scored 3 runs in the top of the 11th inning. They beat the Mariners Sunday. The Padres taking 2 of 3 from the Mariners at Petco Field. Seattle came back to tie the game of the 8th on Dylan Moore's 2-run home run after the 2 teams traded runs in the 10th. San Diego scored 3 in the 11th on Mitch Moreland's RBI double, Jackson Profar's RBI base hit, and an error by second baseman Dylan Moore. Mariners return to Seattle. They wrap up their home part of their schedule tonight. They got Houston over 3 games, and they wrap up the regular season down in Oakland for 4. Tonight's game, 6:10. Marco Gonzalez will go up against Lance McCullers Jr. Mariners pretty much have to sweep Houston to have any hope at all of making the postseason. To the American League West on Sunday, and again, courtesy of our friends at Les Schwab, the A's magic number remains 1. Oakland lost and Houston won on Sunday. The Giants thwarted plans for a celebration in Oakland as they drubbed the Athletics 14-2. In Houston, George Springer, 3 for 4 with a home run, led the Astros past Arizona 3-2. And the Rangers hit 5 home runs. Texas powers past the Angels 7-2. Eric writes sports, and he does a really good job. He didn't mention this, by the way. For the 22nd time in the last 26 seasons, the Yankees qualified for the playoffs. Thought I'd throw that out there. Season wraps up this Saturday night at the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval. One more big night of racing. We got the Neil Newberry 125 for the Northwest Super Late Models. That's presented by Pepsi. It's also the Tommy Wentz Classic for the Dixie Heating and Air Conditioning Thunder Cars. Also racing will be the Holiday Custom Muffler B-Mods and the Plum Perfect Roadrunners. Eric Grandstrom and Greg Rentz will have the call Saturday night, 6 o'clock live right here on the NCW Life Channel. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Monday. I want to thank my teammate Megan for providing me with today's obscure holiday. She didn't really provide it, but she got me hooked on chai tea. Complete accident. A couple of years ago, we were out shooting, filming something, and we needed to take a break, and I needed caffeine, so she said, you should try chai tea. I've never had it before. Fell in love with it. I'm hooked on chai tea, and today is National Chai Day. First of all, it smells really good, doesn't it? Doesn't chai tea just smell good? It's a strong tea. It packs a pretty good wallop. You can find it everywhere now. Why I'd never had a cup of chai tea in my life, I don't know why. Now I can't get enough of it. It's Indian in origin, of course. It dates back nearly 5,000 years. Comes in many forms. The traditional chai tea, you steep it in black leaves, and then you add a little milk for flavor and a little sugar. Sometimes people use almond milk or coconut milk. The most common spice is cardamom. That's the dominant spice in chai tea, but then there's all kinds of other stuff, cinnamon, nutmeg, pepper, what have you. And now that we're making the transition from summer to fall, we're kind of popping right back into chai tea territory, yeah. Let the aroma of chai tea permeate your senses, and then drink a cup. Feels good. Again, thanks to Megan for turning me on to that delectable drink. 25 minutes after the hour. Today in history, that is the Boeing B-29, the Super Fortress, and for the first time ever, it flew on this date. These things are behemoths. That's Fifi and Doc that you see. They are the last two B-29s that still fly. Fifi and Doc. 4 engines, propeller driven, just huge, huge planes. The idea was high altitude strategic bombing, but then they realized it does low bombing well. And of course, the B-29, the Super Fortress, made by Boeing, was the only airplane ever to drop a nuclear weapon in combat. Those were the planes that they used to drop the bombs on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. The B-29 made its debut 78 years ago today. I've been inside a B-29, a static B-29. They have them in different museums all over the place. They don't fly anymore. Again, there's only 2 of them that still fly. Pretty dang impressive. As you know by now, we lost Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg on Friday. Her predecessor, one of her predecessors anyway, got her gig on this date back in 1981, September 21st, 1981. It was 39 years ago today. Sandra Day O'Connor is sworn in and approved by the U.S. Senate and sworn in as the first female Supreme Court justice 39 years ago today. We've had 3 since then, and now quite possibly a 4th. We'll have to wait and see. Sandra Day O'Connor has now completely removed herself from public life. She, unfortunately, was diagnosed with dementia about 3 years ago, lives in an assisted living facility, but her impact on American law and on the Constitution is still out there. She made history on this date 39 years ago today. And speaking of history, this is the 12th anniversary of the last game ever played at the original Yankee Stadium. Yankees defeated the Baltimore Orioles on Sunday night, September 21st, 2008. The final was 77-3. The Yankees played in Yankee Stadium, the original Yankee Stadium, for 85 years. They went 4,133 victories, 2,430 defeats. They liked playing at home. Yankee Stadium played host to 161 postseason games. Yankee Stadium played host to 100 World Series games. And on Tuesday, June 7th, 1983, for the first time in my life, Yankee Stadium played host to me. It was on my bucket list. It was my first trip to New York. It was the Yankees against the Cleveland Indians, again, June 7th, 1983. Took the D train from Midtown Manhattan, got off the subway. Next stop, Yankee Stadium, 161st Street, but it was a subway, so you had to walk up about 3 flights of stairs to get up to the street level where the stadium was. And as I got farther and farther up, and my heart began to palpitate, and you got to the next level, and finally you emerged on the street level behind home plate at Yankee Stadium, and it was the biggest thing I had ever seen in my life. And I was 18. I'd been to big stadiums. I'd been to Stadium Olympique in Montreal and the Kingdome and Husky Stadium. I wasn't a stranger to big stadiums, and this thing was the biggest thing I'd ever seen. It was huge. And I was there. I was finally there at Yankee Stadium. Got my ticket. I got my ticket in the top level because I wanted to soak in the entire stadium experience. Got into the stadium, worked my way up to the top level. The corridors at the original Yankee Stadium were very, very narrow, and you thought, okay, this is my aisle to get to my seat, and it was so narrow, and you walked in, you got closer and closer, and then there it was, Yankee Stadium, a sea of blue seats and just beautiful green grass, and the dirt was perfect, and it was one of the great days of my life. Cleveland beat the Yankees, by the way, 2-1. I didn't care. Yankee Stadium. I miss her. Birthdays. The King of Horror, Stephen King, 73 years old today. Broke through with Carrie, his first novel. He had like no money. He wrote Carrie. Nobody bought it. He had so little money in 1973 that his phone was disconnected. And when the publisher decided they were going to pay him a $2,500 advance to publish the book Carrie, they couldn't call him and tell him because he had no phone. Of course, Carrie became a movie. Salem's Lot is a great book. The Shining, and my first personal favorite Stephen King novel, The Stand. The King of Horror, Stephen King, 73 years old today. Bill Murray celebrates birthday number 70. Cinderella story, going to be the master's chant. Bill Murray, actor, comedian, producer, screenwriter, of course, broke through with Saturday Night Live, and then Caddyshack. My favorite Bill Murray movie is Stripes. It just cracks me up. Tootsie, Ghostbusters, Scrooge, Groundhog Day, Lost in Translation. He played FDR in Hyde Park. Bill Murray, 70 years old today, and I never, ever forget Steve Hare's birthday because Steve Hare The now retired from broadcasting Steve Hare, one of my great broadcasting partners and friends, is also 70 years old today. Yeah, Steve Hare and Bill Murray are exact contemporaries. Hi, Steve. Happy 7-0 to Steve Hare. We miss him around here. Come by and see us, Steve. We'd love to see you. It's the bottom of the hour. We have a brand new, never seen before by you, anyway, opinion from Mike Mignotti. We're rolling out some new ones. And then my conversation with Dr. Julie Rickard and Blake Suzelis from the National Center for Suicide Survivors. This is an important conversation. You don't want to miss it. It's coming up in the back half of the hour. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel. From the ocean to the mountains to the forest in between, vacation time can be a fun time. But not if your car breaks down. Call Global Car Care today. Have a service approved over $150 on your vehicle, and Global Car Care will donate an oil change service to one of our local heroes at Confluence Health. Look for more incentives online. Global Car Care cares about their community.
How do you know when it's time to go to Boswell's Furniture? When you know the look you love, the colors you want, but need a little design help to bring it all together. With Boswell's complimentary design service, Glenn, Buffy, and Teresa guide you until your vision becomes reality. More styles, more fabrics, and more choices of quality home furnishings fill Boswell's expansive 2-story showroom so you can see it and feel it before you buy. Come into Boswell's and explore the endless possibilities of home furnishings. Boswell's on Easy Street. It's closer than you think.
You love to help others. You need a solid career. You can have it all with help from Charter College. Our 10-month medical assistant program prepares you to work in healthcare settings like physician offices, rehab centers, and clinics. You'll learn to take patient vitals, assist with exams, administer injections, and maintain medical records. When you're ready to launch a rewarding healthcare career, visit chartercollege.edu because we work to get you to work.
Doghouse Motorsports just won Best Motorsports Store for the 7th year in a row. Is it the great facility? Is it the fantastic products? Or is it?
I'm Bobby.
And I'm Tabor.
I'm Mike. And I'm Glenn.
Hi, I'm Todd.
I'm Jeff.
And this is the Doghouse Service Team.
Hi, I'm Dee.
And I'm Dwayne.
And I'm Kathy.
Come on in and experience the Doghouse.
Are you in the Doghouse?
Hey folks, Carrie from Blueberry Hills. Looking for great food that's also an experience? Come on out to Blueberry Hills in Manson. Open year-round and named one of the top 4 restaurants in the state worth the drive for breakfast by the Seattle Times. Serving down-home scratch country cooking with huge portions at family-friendly prices. Great food and a fun experience for the whole family, and definitely worth the drive. For more information, check our website at wildaboutberries.com.
These days, it can be hard to trust the media. What's true, what's fake, and who is behind the message? I'm a freelance journalist and videographer who has spent years studying the media, interviewing people, writing stories, and producing documentary videos. But I was born and raised in Eastern Washington and grew up working on farms and in the fields. Now I'm taking a look at what local, regional, and national news stories mean to us here in North Central Washington. Join me, Dominic Bonney, for Common Sense on NCW Life TV.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog McNutty, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, nothing I like better than some white person telling me that I'm a racist, okay? I once had a friend tell me who the only reason I didn't like President Obama was because he was black. Now, I knew there was no way I could explain to this person the reading I've done, the painful soul-searching I've gone through to try to recognize, admit, and address my prejudices. Soul-searching I still go through, honestly. I know this person wouldn't listen because I realize how much it is easier to point out someone else's perceived shortcomings than deal with your own. So what I said was the only thing I thought of at the time was that, well, I don't like Joe Biden either. This is Mike Mad Dog McNatty.
We choose truth over facts.
And that's my opinion.
Boating in the Wenatchee Valley starts at Bob File Boats and Motors. Now you can fish like a pro without breaking the bank thanks to the Pro Mag aluminum fishing boat by Smokercraft. It features a great layout with a spacious bow casting platform, huge live wells, and in-floor storage to safely stow your gear. See the Smokercraft line of boats at Bob File Boats and Motors on Sunset Highway in East Wenatchee or online at bobfile.com.
Bob File Boats and Motors, we're dealing. Bob File's gonna make you smile.
The Meat Shop in Chelan has all the meats, homemade side dishes, sauces, and rubs you need for a summer feast. The Meat Shop opens 6 days a week to serve you in downtown Chelan.
More than a health food store, it's your good food store. Bear Foods and Cafe Creperie, a feast for the eyes and the palate.
For the Chelan Valley's most unique tasting experience, visit One Wines, a true boutique winery producing only one white, one rosé, and one red with a rare exceptional vintage. Limited to 800 cases per year. Visit One Wines today.
Wenatchee Power Sports not only has a new owner, but an all-new attitude to match. Speaking of attitude, check out the 2021 models arriving now. Polaris snowmobiles, ATVs and side-by-sides. Yamaha motorcycles, watercraft ATVs and side-by-sides. KTM motorcycles and the latest edition Beta high-performance motorcycles. Coming this fall, a huge demo event featuring the latest and hottest off-road machines. It's all at the retuned Wenatchee Power Sports, where maximum performance is a way of life. 3031 GS Center Road in North Wenatchee, open Tuesday through Saturday.
So Pam, how's your mom doing?
She's okay. She's struggling. She'd like to stay in her house, and it's getting harder for her to do the daily chores.
What kinds of problems is she having?
Just basic house cleaning, taking care of her house, yard work, taking care of her medicine.
Mm-hmm. It does sound exhausting.
It is very exhausting, and I always worry about her.
Aging and Adult Care can assist you or your loved one to remain comfortably and safely in their own home. Contact them today to start the conversation. Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz. Who's kidding who? COVID-19 is affecting everybody in one way or the other, not the least of which right between our ears and our brains. And the bottom line is the risk of suicide has gone up. It has gone up since COVID broke in March of this year. It's a serious subject to talk about, and to talk about that and how we go about maybe preventing it, or at least helping those out who need our help. Dr. Julie Rickard has been on the show before. She knows what she's talking about. And you brought your partner with you, your friend. Julie, introduce Blake to our television family, please.
All right, this is Blake Suzelis. He's the co-founder with me of the National Center for Suicide Survivors.
And we'll start out with that. What exactly is the National Center for Suicide Survivors? Please explain.
So it is a treatment that helps suicide attempt survivors that was brought over from Europe. So we went to Switzerland and got trained in this specific treatment. It's an intensive 5-session treatment. And the goal is that attempt survivors don't go on to reattempt at a rate of about 80%.
And what is the normal rate for those people who try to take their own lives, don't succeed, and try again and do?
It's pretty high. It's around 50 to 60% go on to reattempt at some point.
Even though the first attempt failed, and that would set off all the alarms and the red bells and the sirens and everything, they still.
Yeah, what we know is about 50% of people that have an attempt actually don't go on to get treatment, or they drop out of treatment really early. And so the reason our treatment is so efficacious is because it's brief, it's only 5 sessions, it's very intensive, and we have an entire wraparound program.
Where are we numbers-wise with COVID and suicide? I mean, I did some homework. Suicide is up, both attempts, successful and unsuccessful, for lack of a better term, when it comes to suicide. Nobody's immune from the mental strain of this, Blake and Julie. Where are we, both from a national community and a local community? By the numbers, can you give me anything on where we are in suicide right now?
Yeah, so community-wise, so Chelan and Douglas County, so that really we're at about 8 people have died this year, which actually, when we look at statistics, it's actually fairly low. For our community, what we usually see is higher numbers, and the people that have died so far have been men in their middle years. So that's unusual because usually we have youth and we have more seniors, but because of COVID, we're locked in and we're more around those people, so those people probably have less chances and less opportunities. Now, on the whole, what we know is unemployment is a huge risk factor, and the prediction is 1.5% increase in suicide deaths based on every 1% of unemployment. And we in our United States have had about a 10% shift, so that's a significant increase in deaths.
Where do drugs and alcohol fit into all this? And I'll let either one of you handle that.
Sure, yeah. Well, I mean, if you look at the statistics for the increase in alcohol consumption alone, I mean, it has gone up exponentially. And we do know that specifically alcohol contributes, it's a huge risk factor for suicide. So we may not be seeing the reflection in the numbers at this very moment, but what all the people are saying, the experts, is that what's to come is what we're fearing the most.
So we're in what we call a disillusionment phase, and the Department of Behavioral Health Resources just predicted that as people move into that, which is within the next 2 months, about 50% of the people in Washington state will have a diagnosable mental health illness.
Is depression always the first step down that road to starting to think about the ultimate taking your life kind of thing? Is that, do we have a basic understanding of that?
Yeah, I mean, what we know is about 90% of the people that die by suicide are depressed at the time of death, but not everybody that dies by suicide is depressed. So we know that there's a correlation. We also know that alcohol plays a significant role, and that suppresses that ability to your brain to help you survive. And so there's lots of factors that people have: unemployment, homelessness. We are in a time of stress right now. The smoke is getting to people, so we've had more people that have been attempting because they're locked in at yet another level. So it's really hard.
And how much of it, and Blake or Julie, I'll let either one of you, is the spur of the moment? They just snapped, and there wasn't any seem to step A, do B, C, D. They just all of a sudden, I got filed for divorce papers, and they take the gun and without really showing any signs whatsoever, they just snap. How many? Where are we with that?
Well, it really is one of the biggest myths, is that people just commit or attempt suicide out of the blue. I mean, what we do know from research is there are warning signs that lead up to it. Including, it can be depression, it can be anxiety, it can be isolation, sleeping more, increased alcohol consumption. I mean, there's so many risk factors we're seeing that lead up to the actual attempt, and oftentimes they're reaching out in some way to communicate, hey, I'm not okay. And so, yeah, that is actually one of the biggest myths.
Suicide survivors, those people who attempt to take their lives and do not achieve their goal. Again, there's no easy way to put it that way. How many of these are accurately diagnosed? How do you know that they tried to commit suicide and failed? Is it the emergency room visit and the doctor says, well, you didn't actually hurt yourself cutting a turkey or something like that? Where do we come in on that? I mean, how do you know?
Well, basically, we know that we'll get referrals from the primary care. People will go into the emergency room. The police will be alerted to people that have attempted, and some people will just refer themselves, right? I mean, I think oftentimes about 25 to 50% of people don't ever show up anywhere, but they've actually made multiple attempts. And so our goal is to, as people start to learn about our center and the treatment that we provide, that people start coming in when they recognize that they're at a point where they've made an attempt and they really are wanting to live, and we can help that. So,
well, let's talk about the center. Let's talk about, you're having a virtual open house on Facebook Live this Wednesday, September 23rd. Blake, I'll let you take this for a little bit. What exactly can we expect on Wednesday the 23rd, and give me an overall thrust of what people can expect from your organization?
Sure, absolutely. So this Wednesday, what we're doing is we're having hosting a Facebook Live virtual open house at noon, basically where people can log on to our Facebook page, Help for Suicide, and what we're going to do is kind of walk them through the office. So I know for a lot of people, they just want to see, okay, what's it actually going to look like when I get there? Kind of gets them already feeling a little more comfortable with being there when they get there. And then from there, we're going to discuss the program itself, which we've called Intensive Suicide Survivor Treatment. And technically, it's a 24-month program is really what it is, because we've found in research that for the first 24 months after an attempt, that's when they're at greatest risk. Now, yes, the first 6 months is the most important time to jump in, and we see this window of opportunity where we can jump in and save their life. But really, it's a 24-month period where they're at their greatest risk. And so what the program does is during the first 5 sessions, it's very intensive, in person. And then for the rest of the 24 months, we've kind of built in support through family and other means for the rest of the 24 months. So we kind of go dive deep into what that is, explain it, and then just actually open up to Q&A so people can post questions now, and we'll answer those, or even in the moment we can take them and just answer those questions so that anything, and just to make people more comfortable with our program.
Scenario, family member or a loved one says, I really think this person could use the help that Julie and Blake can give, but I'm afraid to refer my friend to you because it might boomerang. It might have the opposite effect. I really think you should see Blake and Julie, but I'm afraid if I bring it up, they're going to go the opposite way. Kind of like we're taking you to an intervention.
Right.
How does one tiptoe on that very delicate subject, Julie?
So I think the majority of people really have this myth that if I ask about suicide, talk about suicide, even hint about suicide, that I make the problem worse, that I'll make someone actually attempt. And the truth is research doesn't show that. There's no support for that. What we know is that if you talk to someone about suicide, they actually feel better. They actually get more hopeful, and they feel like someone actually cares. Most people that attempt or die by suicide actually feel alone at the time of death. And so we know that by helping to kind of increase that sense of community, that increase that sense of support, that they feel better, and reaching out and saying, hey, I know that there's this program, is something that they're gonna feel like, wow, they really thought about me and they really want me to live.
The word keeps coming into my head as we talk, isolation. We are human beings. We got brain stems and we have brains, and we are sociable creatures by nature. That's how it's been. What kind of role does COVID and isolation play in the rise in suicide and attempted suicides overall? Isolation specifically.
Yeah, it's really a big factor, and even pre-COVID it was a huge factor because people often believe that they're not wanted, they're not valuable, they don't have worth, and it's really because I don't feel part of the pack, right? I'm not part of the community, or I'm a burden to the community. I have something that because I'm in trouble or I'm struggling or I don't add value in a certain way, we just pull ourselves out and away. And so COVID adds this next layer where now maybe I'm in a relationship and I'm stuck at home and it's not going well because we're not used to being around each other 24 hours a day, or the kids are now home with us all the time. And I think it's putting families in a position where they just have never been. And I think while it's good in some ways, it's also kind of forcing us to work through our stuff, and some of us need help at that. And so hopefully this is a time where people are reaching out to mental health providers, they're reaching out to us if they have suicide questions or they have concerns about their loved one, because the truth is that people get better when you get help, and especially for something like this, they get better.
I've talked to a number of mental health experts from Confluence Health over the last 6 months, and they have told me flat out business is good, business is too good.
Yeah.
And you certainly, what you've said folds into that. A couple more questions, I'm going to cut you loose. How does one know that somebody close to you may have attempted suicide and failed? How do you know if they didn't tell anybody, or there's no obvious signs that they took a bunch of pills with alcohol but just slept through it and ended up surviving, but they're not going to tell anybody? What are the signs that somebody may have actually tried suicide and didn't get the job done, again, so to speak?
Yeah, well, and I think it really comes back that we do see warning signs. And so it's not this thing that's completely out of the blue. And so as long as we have people around us, again, this is where the isolation comes in, that we're talking to and we're communicating with, which is the reason why it's so important to build in this support, which is what we do in the intensive survivor suicide treatment. And so, I mean, they're completely engaged in their regular primary care with their mental health therapist, their primary. We're kind of like the specialist for suicide. And then they're in with their psychiatrist if they need it, and their PCP. So it's this wraparound approach in addition to we're building in family supports and trainings for them. And so again, it's really, the biggest thing is really trying to surround them with support to really decrease that isolation.
I think I'll just add
Go ahead,
one
please.
thing is that I think there's a lot of warning signs that get missed and overlooked over time. And so I think for one, we're always looking at people's baseline and how they normally operate versus how you see them now operating. And what usually triggers that wonderment of, is something wrong, is something going on, is that sense of like, they're not acting like themselves, they're not engaging, they're not calling me back, they're not texting, or they're not interacting on social media, right? Or they're, not going out. They're not doing the things that they used to do. They're not getting out of bed. They're not participating at school. They're not participating at work. They're kind of disengaged from colleagues. So it's little things like that that start to add up that don't make sense. And it provides the opportunity to say, hey, I'm worried about you. Are you thinking about hurting yourself? I just want to check in. And really, it's okay to do that. But I think family gets kind of the sense of, I know they're struggling. But I think there are times where people maybe have a moment where they go, you know what, I didn't see that. And I think that can happen. But I think oftentimes when we look back in hindsight, there were things that were said or done that we maybe just thought, well, they're just having a bad day.
That little voice in the back of your head was telling you something and you ignored it or didn't think much of it at the time. I'm going to put you on the spot, Dr. Rickard, and I hate to do that.
Nope.
This is the pamphlet that she brought with her. This is it's an innovative and new treatment to this country.
Yep.
I hate to in the shortest, easiest layman's terms, explain exactly how this treatment is different from anything else and why you brought it here to the Valley.
Yeah, so it's been in research since 2009 over in Switzerland, and it's called Attempted Suicide Short Intervention over in Europe. Here we have labeled it Intensive Suicide Survivor Treatment, and basically it's an intensive 90-minute session where we go in and we specifically are only addressing your suicide, your goal of hurting yourself or wanting to die. And our work is really to kind of peel back the layers and really work with you on that one thing. Now, what's unique about it is the fact that we're not really addressing all of these other things. We are addressing, and through our program, we're addressing lots of the risk factors that are involved in dying by suicide. But the intensive treatment is really a video-based therapy, so you're on camera, we are taping it, and then we go back through and we use that narrative that you kind of come forward with about what happened and when suicide actually became an option, and then we start building a safety net life plan around that. And then we have you connected with a HOPE sponsor, so someone that you choose to work your program with over the course of 2 years, and then that person will check in with you during times of crisis. And so our goal is to kind of have a wraparound approach to people that are struggling at any point, but then they stay in therapy with their mental health provider. So we stay connected to their primary care, we stay connected with their mental health provider, and then they stay connected with us over the course of 2 years.
We are almost out of time. Once again, the NCSS, which is an acronym for National Center for Suicide Survivors, are going to have a Facebook Live virtual open house Wednesday at noon. Just go to Facebook and Help for Suicide. It'll pop right up. For those people who can't make it or are interested in perhaps your services or at least want to learn more about what you and Blake are doing, where do we go from here? I'll let you two have the final word on how people end up on your radar and how do they get on your list, so to speak.
Yeah, so it's helpforsuicide.org is our website. Anybody can call us. They can email us. We've put our email out there, so please reach out. And then you want to say anything final?
Yeah, so I mean, and so this is even for the providers, that they can send referrals over to us. All they have to do is either send us an email, give us a phone call, and we'll send them over the referral form, and they can even refer them specifically, their own patients. So we want this to be like a community effort, a wraparound approach to these individuals, showing that we do care and they matter.
Blake and Julie, it's always good to see you. I wish the topic could be more fun, but I mean, hey, this stuff, we need to talk about this.
Yep.
Yeah.
And maybe if there's anything that we take from this conversation, is exactly that, conversations, talk.
That's exactly
Absolutely.
It's amazing what it does, doesn't
Mhm.
it?
Yeah.
It really does. I hope it goes well on Wednesday.
Yeah, thank
All right.
you.
Thanks, Blake.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Julie, for coming
All right.
by and seeing us.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
You're watching Wake Up on Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Collins Fashions announces their buy one, get one free sale on all Red Tag clothing. Brands that you love like Tribal, Jag, French Dressing, Joseph Ribcop, Foxcroft, Liverpool, Cut, etc., etc. Dresses, tees, blouses, ankle pants, and capris. Just remember, buy one item and get the next item of equal or lesser value free. New fall jeans, slacks, tops, sweaters, boots arriving daily. Brighton fall jewelry collections are stunning. Time for a new handbag, ladies. All at Collins, where fun meets fashion in downtown Wenatchee.
Hi, I'm Kevin Prosser, and this is my print shop, Color Effects in Cashmere. Color Effects offers screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing on t-shirts, jerseys, bags, banners, signs, and more. With 30 years experience, you won't be disappointed with the quality and quick turnaround times you will get at more than a fair price. Please call Color FX.
It's estimated that 1/3 of Americans do not have a financial plan. At D.A. Davidson, their advisors are working to change that because they understand the importance of planning for the future. At D.A. Davidson, they believe in partnering together to build a strategy tailored to your needs. They spend the time and have the knowledge to help keep your financial future on track. Let D.A. Davidson Financial Advisors of Wenatchee put the strength of advice to work for you.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
And we are back live here from Studio 7 in downtown Wenatchee on this, the final day of summer, the 93rd and final day of summer 2020. We've had essentially no rain all summer long. Not going to have rain today. Not going to have any rain tomorrow. The rain's coming Wednesday. Can't wait for that, for the first day of autumn, which is tomorrow. So here's your outlook for the rest of the week. Again, a mixture of clouds and sun today. They're going to do battle. It'll be a tie is what it'll be by the time this day is over. Quite a bit of bountiful sunshine for everybody in our viewing area on Tuesday, and then a vigorous frontal system finally going to bring us some rain. A lot of rain, perhaps, especially on Wednesday night. Either way you look at it, we're going to have rain of some kind or another Wednesday night, Thursday night, right on into Friday and Friday night from the National Weather Service. Let's take a look at the forecast, which looks something like this. Again, partly cloudy today. Back and forth we go. A high of 77. 54 for the overnight low tonight. Lots of sunshine Tuesday. High of about 78 degrees. Tuesday night, while you're sleeping, the clouds will begin to creep in to the Wenatchee Valley. Wednesday, the rain will come. Probably early in the afternoon on Wednesday. And we'll have pretty good rain, pretty consistent light rain all the day, all the rest of the way through Wednesday and right on in to Wednesday night. Don't really know how much rain we're going to get. We'll take anything at this point, but rain Wednesday afternoon, rain Wednesday night, rain early Thursday morning, a little bit of a break in the midday on Thursday, and then more rain returns Thursday afternoon into Thursday night, spilling over into Friday. As you can see, we're going to cool down. We're going to have some breezy conditions as well, so it's going to feel like autumn just in time for autumn. And then the upcoming weekend, the first full weekend of fall, Saturday and Sunday, not bad. Looks pretty good. That's it for us. Bonnie Orr will be my guest tomorrow for the first day of autumn. Have a good Monday. Take care. Bye-bye.